What's up? Welcome
What?
again to another episode of Overtakes F1 podcast. Today
Hello,
we're going to talk about
world.
Hi, everybody.
It- Italian Grand Prix.
How we
Monza.
doing?
Doing good. How
Good.
are you? How you doing?
Good, good.
Where's the Ferrari hat? I wish I had the Ferrari hat on. Right
I forgot. I said, "Oh, I'm going to wear the Ferrari hat today," and I totally forgot to put it on.
You're a McLaren fan. You don't get to wear the Ferrari hat.
I'm a Formula One fan. How about that? I can do whatever I want.
Well,
Flip-flop,
Formula One fans
flip-flop.
should be happy after today's race because we
I
got
was
three
happy.
contenders for the constructors.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Yep.
It's a lot of fun. Compared to the last couple seasons we've been
Mm-hmm.
enduring. So before we get into that, how about we talk about the people who won? Give
Oh,
them
yeah.
give Ferrari some credit. They said we are gonna either win or our tires are gonna explode.
And they won.
Yep, that was really good. Carlos Sainz did a good job holding back McLaren as much as he could so that Leclerc could get a nice little comfy lead, not give him enough time to catch up because it was getting close towards the end.
Yep.
But yeah. The King Charles, the king of Monza.
Dude, Oscar is so good at overtaking on lap 1, and he's so bad at overtaking when he has fresh tires.
Yeah. I don't know. I was really excited when at the jump of the race because Lando got a really good start and he threw himself all the way to the right to take the inside, outside, right in front of Oscar. And then after the first chicane, at least my brain was like, okay, we're good. We did it,
Yeah, right. Turn one,
we-
he's still in first. I'm like, let's go.
And then Piastri sent
And
it.
then Piastri says, "Hold my beer," and he just dive bomb.
He sends it, man. When he sends it, he sends it.
Yeah. He kind of reminds me of Verstappen where like he's going and if you don't move, like we're gonna crash.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's what
there's
happened. If Norris didn't pull out, they would have bumped.
Exactly. Yeah. They asked in the post race to Norris like about that specific turn and he was just like, I pressed the brakes because if I didn't press the brakes, we were gonna collide. Which I mean, in my opinion, I'm like, man, that's like a really hard decision to make because you're gonna let Oscar keep doing these really risky moves. Or are you just gonna like crash one day and be like, well, if he keeps doing this, this is what's gonna happen. But there's so much on the line for Norris that it's just, he doesn't want to crash because one race that he gets 0 points, Max just keeps climbing ahead of him. So it's really tough, and I think Oscar is using that to his advantage. Just like, well, if he doesn't break, I got nothing to lose. So I don't know. What do you guys think about that turn?
I mean, is it risky? Like you called it risky, but is it risky if like he never makes contact? Like Oscar sends these crazy, quote unquote dive bombs, but he doesn't usually make contact with people. He just kind of gets the positions. I don't know how risky it is.
What today was risky.
Was it though?
Yeah,
they both gave each other plenty of space.
I don't know about that.
They both had it. I mean, they didn't make contact, and neither of them left the track, so they had enough space.
Then could you say Oscar put him in the position, like no other position but to break,
or run him off the road? Yeah.
Yeah.
Which maybe he should have done. I'm serious.
Well,
like Lando just lets people overtake him. He just lets it happen.
Do you feel like he's just like a defensive driver in that sense?
I mean, he didn't really defend. I guess he wasn't expecting Oscar to dive bomb, but I don't know. I think he just thinks that he's very risk averse, which is good because he's not usually gonna crash. but he's not. I mean, he's gonna lose out on wins if he does that. I don't know. It's hard to know if he would have ended up winning that race if he was, because we don't know if he was faster than Oscar. I mean, Oscar was faster throughout the whole race, but Oscar had free air most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Just trying to overtake people.
That's
So
true.
who knows if
Lando did
Lando
say he was
stayed in
having.
first.
Lando said he was having issues with his front tires.
Yeah,
Everybody.
that could be the dirty air. You don't know. Like if Lando's in first there, maybe Leclerc, maybe he catches Leclerc at the end. It's unclear.
Well, I rewatched the highlight right before we hopped on here, and I took a closer look at that dive bomb of Piastri. Ballsy on his part.
Mm-hmm.
He had the space. He did it. But there was that one instance that Lando had to pull to the left or they would have hit. I guess he's following
Yeah, that's the one we're
Papaya
talking
rules,
about.
whatever that means.
Yeah.
And from him pulling to the left, he kind of lost a little bit of momentum because then Leclerc just went right by him right after that turn as well. And then he's in P3.
No, for sure.
So,
yeah.
Masterclass of Oscar Piastri.
Oscar's scary good.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the best overtakes. That was the best overtake this race, guaranteed. There wasn't many.
Yes.
But for the season, I would put it up there. That was really good overtake. And my question is, would Oscar, both of you, I want both of your opinions, would Oscar have pulled that move if Verstappen was in front of him? And based off your question, what do you think Verstappen's reaction would have been if he was?
Nobody does that on Verstappen. Nobody does that on Verstappen.
He would have tried, I think. I don't think Oscar's scared to try that move, no matter who's in front of him.
I think if Max was in P1, he would have seen it coming and he would have defended before he even gave the chance to do it. That's my opinion. I just think Lando is just too papaya and he just like moves out of the way, or...
He's too papaya.
Great driver, but he's a little bit too papaya. Whatever papaya rules mean, that's what I mean by it too.
You mean stupid? Papaya rules are stupid, but okay.
Nobody knows what papaya rules are. They could mean anything.
I think they asked it after the race. They asked Zach Brown on the F1 post show, and he said it was just racing with enough space.
As long as they don't touch.
Yeah, and as long as you guys don't cause a collision, that's pretty much what it means. Which, I mean, that's not really papaya racing. That should be racing for all teams. It's not papaya rules. It should be team rules in general.
But that just means that they're letting him race, which is another thing. They didn't let Lando pass Oscar at the end for more points, which is kind of nuts.
Yes. Okay, and now that's another 3 points that Lando could have gotten. Let's look at those 6 that we had back in the day. I'm gonna start making a chart.
7.
7.
Yeah, he did get fastest lap though at the end again, which is nuts.
At least. So
I saw a comment earlier that he's the new 007 because he's been 7 times on pole with 0 times
leading after the
on
first
P1
lap.
after the first lap.
Oh man.
Yep.
But the Twitter world is giving a lot of shit to McLaren, and I think that they deserve it for not giving Lando the placement at the end. I really don't understand why they're acting this way, and neither does Will Buxton. I think you guys need to go see Will Buxton's rant. It's like at least 2 minutes long where he's ranting about McLaren and their stupid decisions and how it's going to hurt them. And if they don't start making the right decisions, they're going to lose everything.
Do you guys remember the race that in Hungary when they let Oscar pass and they're like, you're going to need Oscar to win the championship?
Yes.
Right.
Why didn't they use Oscar to help him get more points? It's crazy. I don't know what they're doing.
A wonderful question.
I don't know what they're doing.
We're already getting to the point where, like, for Norris to beat Max, there's all these like crazy scenarios, like, oh, Norris needs to win first in every race with fastest lap, and Max needs to get second every single time. So okay, it's gonna be hard, but it's
No, it's
possible.
happening. It's easy when Max is finishing 6th instead of
No,
second.
yeah, but I don't think Max is gonna finish 6th every race. But I mean, today was a great example. Was a great moment for Norris. It would have been even better if McLaren was looking out for him at the end.
I mean, I think in the last
those 2 points could make a difference. We're up
Let's-
to we're up to I'm not so good at math, but I think we're up to 9 points right now that he could have kind of had,
10,
right?
10
points.
Am I that bad at math?
10.
What do you mean 10?
It was 7 and 3. He would have gotten an extra 3 points today and then 7 points for the win.
I thought I'm pretty sure it was 6, Eddie.
Why 3 today is a 2 point difference from 2
3
to
No,
2.
today.
it's a 3. No, because he got fastest lap.
Yeah,
That's why
18 and Okay,
so,
guys.
so it goes 18 to
Oh, I
15.
see.
there you go.
Yeah.
Here's a look at the top 10 and the drivers' champions.
Let's see.
See, so Oscar got 18 and he got 16 when he's supposed to get 15, but he got
Fastest lap.
yeah.
At the very end too.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
He
because he
loves
still
to do
had
that.
he was babying the tires a little bit, you know, which
Yeah.
I don't shit. Well, whatever.
I mean, this is still the gap when they're talking about that Lando needs to get first and Max needs to get second and blah blah blah. This is still the gap. Like, still 8 points is still the margin that he needs, so he's still in contention if you want to look at it that way. But I mean, today, why not give him the points? Today really didn't matter, second or third.
I mean, today he really just gained 8 points on Verstappen when he could have gained,
11.
he could have gained 11 points. So, I mean, that's just, it's frustrating. I honestly, I was thinking about this earlier. I'm like, I think Lando like might just like lay in bed at night and think of all the points that have slipped away from him. And it's frustrating.
If he doesn't win the championship and he misses out by 9 points or whatever the number is, if it's because of McLaren decisions, I don't know how much faith he has left in that team.
I was thinking about this. Like, how do you think he's feeling about McLaren? Like, it's clear as day that Lando is a top-notch driver, and any team would want him. And Lando must be frustrated that they're not treating him like a number one, especially when he has a significant lead against his second driver on the team. Fine, don't call him a second driver, but look at the points and look at where we are in the season. Like, do you think that he's kind of feeling negative about the team? I think he is. And at this point, do you feel like he's kind of stuck because he's like, well, we have the fastest car in the grid. Like, what am I
he's
gonna
not
do?
winning. They've had the fastest car for like 8 races and he's had 2 wins. Max wins every single time when they have the fastest car.
How much of that do you think is strategy from Papaya?
I mean,
remember that comment that I read earlier, babe, that I told you?
Tell me.
From McLaren. Somebody says McLaren has amazing engineers, but they just have Patrick and SpongeBob SquarePants as strategists on their side. And I'm starting to believe it. I really am.
It's true. I mean, every race you point to something, you're like, why did they do this? Why did they do that? And it usually comes down to strategy with pit stops, and they end up undercutting themselves. They end up, like in Silverstone, Lando, they kept Lando out super long, and then he came out in third or whatever when he from the lead. I mean, it's so many things.
Yeah, I just don't understand. And you see, I mean, I love Zach Brown, but you see Zach Brown, you see Stella, like after the race, like so happy, and I just really felt like somewhat sad for Norris because, like, in the cool down room, like, did you see how defeated he looked?
Yeah,
he was just like sunk into the chair.
Yeah,
and I feel like he's so bitter too. Like, that's one thing that, like, I'm gonna bring it up so that you guys can see. But like, if you see his like photos with the team and stuff, he's just like not as happy as everybody else. Like, his smile just doesn't seem genuine. And then also, like, the past couple times that the weird things that have happened with Piastri in the podium, like, he doesn't spray champagne on him. Like, he will spray champagne on everybody else but him. Like, I really do feel like there's some sort of like tension, and I feel like Piastri just doesn't give a fuck. Like, he's like gonna always try to like be cool with him and stuff like that because he's just like kind of has like an upper hand. at this point. He's like, well, I have nothing to lose. Like,
Do you
and
remember he was also a little papaya when Ricardo was his teammate? It's just him.
I mean, he was dominating Ricardo though. Like it wasn't
Yeah.
even close between him and Daniel.
Can't see that picture that well.
I can't zoom in on that, but
press conference after the
if you just look at this, they're basically like talking to both of them, and
Yeah.
they're just like not looking at each other. They're just there's like a lot of like negative there, and I didn't save the champagne showers, but yeah, I did notice that today when that was happening.
Yeah, I think
But-
Lando's a really self-critical person, and I think all this 007 talk is getting in his head.
It really
Yeah.
is.
Because how many of his problems would be solved if he could just stay in first place when he gets pole position? It would solve so many of the problems.
It's a team sport when they want it to be, and his teammate is really like making it hard for him. Like you want to go race the rest of the grid, but then you got this guy who's in a car just as fast as you, and it's just
Dive bombing.
I don't want to say I dislike him, but I don't want to say I hate him, but I think I kind of dislike him a little bit right now.
Oscar?
Yeah. Like, I'm
Why?
just so excited for Norris that he's having like this close race with Max, and there's this constant little hurdle.
It benefits the team for Oscar to do as well as he can.
Mhm.
And at the end of the day, he's a McLaren driver, and he wants to do as well as he can. Like he wants to win races too. So if the team's not going to tell, I don't know, if fair and square he gets Lando off the line or whatever, he overtakes him on track and he pulls away, like he can't feel bad about that. He's doing his job.
No. But the way things were handled, like at the end, was just a little.
They didn't even try to switch him back though. I don't know if they offered it. We didn't hear any team radio about it.
I didn't
There
even
was
hear
a
about
point
that. No.
in the race where they kind of told him not to try to overtake his team, Oscar. It wasn't those exact words, but it was something kind of like about managing or something like that.
Mhm.
And then that's when they came on the radio later and we're like, okay, you're clear to race. Papaya rules. So at one point they were telling him like, don't dive bomb, don't go crazy.
Yeah. The only mistake I think McLaren made was not swapping the positions once they realized that Oscar wasn't going to catch Leclerc for the win.
Right.
But I mean, that's a big mistake. It's going to make Lando feel obviously really bad, and it's going to hurt his chances at winning the drivers' championship. And at this point, I don't know if he can. If they're not going to prioritize him, I don't know if he can do it.
I thought Lando was going to catch Piastri towards the end of the race. And
I think he could have a couple more laps, and he could have. It's just that the Carlos was kind of like first he had Max blocking him. He had to get past Max, and then he had Carlos, and these two guys were defending up a storm. And then once he got past them, then he started building up his speed to Piastri, and just wasn't enough time.
Right. Eddie, did you see when he was pulling into the pit and he hit that sign trying to slow down?
He almost got a penalty. He almost came in too fast.
Yeah. I thought he was going to get a penalty for like going over that line and hitting the sign, but
yeah, that too.
Guess there's nothing there.
Speaking of penalties, how about Daniel Ricciardo and RB?
Dude, what was going on with RB today? I don't even. What did he finish? He finished 13th.
Hey, I feel bad for Yuki, man.
Yeah, this is the third Monza in a row that Yuki cannot drive.
Poor Yuki, man.
It's
and then they're like 5 seconds, don't touch the car. And right when he comes in, the first thing they do is touch the car. That guy is getting fired.
It's nuts. And Ricardo was running in 11th, I think. Like he could have scored points today. Points were on the table today.
Possibly.
He could have.
Yeah. Let's bring back up this so we could just take a look at that. Nothing crazy. Leclerc was our biggest, obviously, point gainer today. But there was no movement in the
There
top 10.
was. Oh, not in the top
In the
10.
top
yeah.
10, no, but there was movement.
Mm-mm.
Down here. We had
Alexander Albon.
passing Ocon. And look, we got a new name here. Franco Colapinto.
Oh yeah.
Welcome, buddy.
Welcome to F1.
Formula One. He did very
Like
good.
the Sargent didn't even exist.
Yeah, no. Honestly, like I was looking at the rankings and they kept Sargent in the rankings, and I was like, no. Like I don't want to change I don't want to have to like shift all the names up in the graphic. I'm like, you're just gonna replace Logan Sargent.
Well, he came in, he raced once and he's not last.
Yeah, and look at this. He has the same score already as Logan Sargent. So we're doing good so far.
Yeah.
Hey.
There's
Not
just only
last.
one way to go up from here, and it's up. And let me see. Let's also take a look at the Constructors Championship. See where we're at. This is okay. It's not a matter of fact if McLaren's gonna pass. It's one.
Yeah, which is going to be next race.
And then I guess what is it? Yeah,
Next race
yeah,
you're
we're so
calling
close.
already?
Yeah, for sure. Red Bull's
What
not
is that?
fast.
That's 8 points.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna happen next race. You're right. And
Baku
then-
is like has like the longest straights in the world. There and Red Bull's so slow today. They were literally the slowest car in the speed trap. Out of all 10 teams, they were the slowest car in the
That's
straight
not
line.
good.
Yeah.
Well, Max says they couldn't drive the car to full power. I think it means something that Max was like right by Sergio in the final.
Yeah,
Like-
it means that this is how the car's been for Sergio the whole time. This is how it's felt for him the whole time.
Oh man, I don't know.
Can you imagine? This is how much he's been struggling his whole career with Red Bull. Not his whole career, but these past 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
That they're literally finishing 6 and 8,
It was 6 and 8.
and their quali was like 2/10 not even 200ths apart or something.
Mm-hmm.
And Sergio backed out of his last. He gave Max a tow and backed out of his last quali lap.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
It's rough out there in the Red Bull world.
The strugglation is real.
Before we break into Red Bull's conversation, do you guys think that Ferrari is going to pass Red Bull in constructors?
They might. I mean, they have a good chance. If they keep doing this, like Red Bull can easily be third.
That would be insane.
Yeah.
It could happen.
They might be third and still win the Drivers' Championship.
Look at today. I mean, your top 2 teams were Ferrari and McLaren. Like, look at those scoring right there.
Yep.
Like, everything went to them.
And if Red Bull stays
Completely
this far
different
behind,
than last year.
I mean, sprint races are going to put even bigger gaps. Like a weekend where there's a sprint, and if they're finishing, 6
When is
and
our
8,
next sprint?
is it in Baku? Or is it Austin? Is it Austin, Brazil?
No, it's
Are
not.
those
It's not in.
Formula One.
It's not in Baku because I'm looking at the schedule here.
I think it might be
Okay,
Austin.
it's the next. Okay, we had Austrian, which already passed, June 29, October 19th, United States Grand Prix.
Yeah, so Austin.
So we have the U.S., Sao Paulo, and Qatar are the last. Wait, one more row.
No, it should be it. Because we've already had 3, right?
China, Miami. So then Australia. No,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Austria.
Yeah, that's
And
3.
then Austin, Brazil, Qatar. Yeah, those are the last 3.
Let's talk about K-Mag not racing next week.
Wow, I should have totally made that like my crazy prediction. I totally forgot the possibility.
He's been keeping it clean for so long.
I know he kind of stayed off my radar. And so good this week. He scored points, and then he also got penalty points. So
Yeah.
he got double points.
He started the dive bombs again.
Yep. There's rumblings that we're gonna see Behrman next week, in 2 weeks from now.
Yeah,
That would be
believe it.
exciting. A little bit of Ali back on the track.
Yeah, he's gonna score points for 2 different teams. I don't know if that's ever been done by a non
That would be
contract driver.
so cool.
Imagine by a reserve driver scoring points with 2 different teams.
Okay,
Wouldn't that
we're
be
rooting
crazy?
for him. We're rooting for him to play to drive
The Haas
next
looks
weekend.
fast in a straight line.
Wait, so
And
for sure
Baku-
that's who's gonna take over his seat?
I would assume so because he's going to be racing for them next
Rumblings.
year.
Yeah. And Haas is Ferrari, their engines, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yes.
but I mean he's signed for next year with Haas.
That would be
Yeah.
exciting.
I would assume they'd put him in the car.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I wanted to talk to you guys about I think I wrote it down. Let me just look real quick. Yeah, so you're talking about K-Mac. The Red Bull. We wanted to talk about Red Bull's spiraling. Did you guys see the part when Max was like bitching at his engineers to like keep everybody awake because he thought everybody was sleeping?
Yeah.
And I saw like in a post race interview, like they asked him like what that was about, and it was basically they were speaking over the radios, and they kind of agreed like that he should be driving in a certain mode, and for a certain amount of time, and he like chimed in. He's like, can I get out of this mode? Can I switch out and go into like the faster one? And they're like, oh yes, go ahead. And he's like, and then that's when he got upset. Like, everybody needs to be awake. Like, I shouldn't be asking you if I can change my mode. Like, you should be telling me. You're looking at everything in front of you on your screens. Like, you guys should be the ones telling me, wake up. That's where it stems from.
Yo, he's
And
pissed.
like, that's
man.
frustrating.
He's pissed at Red Bull.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the F1 website right here, and it says Verstappen insists Red Bulls have to change the whole car in order to bounce back for the rest of the season.
I mean, they went they had the best car, and then they changed it completely at the start of this year, and they're the only ones who have a car that looks like that. Everybody else's car looks like the old RB19, and they're pulling away.
Yeah. I think I read that Christian Horner said that last weekend they kind of ran the old setup to kind of see what was right. And they took lessons from last weekend into this weekend, and now they think they're getting closer. It's like, man, it is ugly out there.
Yeah.
Very
We'll see
ugly.
what happens next week. Next week I don't think it's going to favor them if they struggled this much at Monza.
Yeah.
But we will see, because it's basically
Singapore is their
Monza.
worst track. No, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm looking at it's Azerbaijan.
Yeah.
And then Singapore. So they could have 2 weekends back to back of like shit.
Yeah. So Baku is basically Monza in the straights, super long, super fast straights with Singapore corners. Just 90 90-degree turns everywhere.
And it's
we'll see.
counterclockwise too.
Yeah.
Interesting.
What I am, I'm not gonna say it now. I have my predictions.
No, don't say it.
Hold
don't
on,
say it.
before we get to that, we skipped a few points here. So
Another week with no safety
fastest
car.
lap. Right? There's that too. I realized that right before we hopped on too.
He was so rusty,
Another
he
no
put it in the
safety.
barrier in practice, or before
That's
they
probably
practiced
why,
even
because
started.
we didn't have a safety car.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point, Eddie. That's why he crashed, because
He's so rusty.
the poor guy. Well, he wasn't the only one that put it in the wall this weekend. Kimi Antonelli.
That's true. We didn't even talk about Kimi, did we?
No,
He's officially a Mercedes driver.
no.
Surprise, surprise.
As expected, announcing in his hometown.
Yep, the day after he crashed. Super awkward timing.
Right?
They interviewed him and he said that he was nervous. He had nerves to begin,
Yeah,
and maybe that had something to do with it.
I believe
I'm
it.
like,
He
I hope so.
crashed. He crashed in the sprint race too in F2 that same day that they announced it.
Yeah, he got P4 in the race.
In the
this
actual
morning.
race. Yeah.
Mhm.
But in the sprint race, right after he crashed in F1 and then they announced him as a Mercedes driver, he crashed and finished like 19th in the F2 race.
Yeah. Yeah,
Should
I know. I
just
asked
put
you
him
guys
on,
earlier.
Behrman won it. His teammate won it.
That race, yes.
Yeah.
Going off track. Pun intended. Uh, the winner of today's F2 race was our guy,
Yeah.
Brazil Bortello.
Bortoletto. Bortoletto.
Bor-
He won from last
Bortoletto.
place. He was in last place.
Yes, yes. So I watched it this morning. I woke up to feed Serena extra early, and and I was like, seeing it was like, oh, Bortello wins first from last. So I'm like, okay. I'm gonna watch the replay while I'm here. And it was basically just luck. Like he was in the back, he was climbing up. I think he got up to like 15 or 12, and then everybody started to pit. It was that time where people
Mhm.
were gonna start pitting,
And
and
the safety
then
car came
safety
out.
car.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still
Safety
impressive
car.
to go from last to first, but man, did he get lucky, and that was exciting. I mean, he could have probably finished in the points at the end the way he was racing, but that it was cheeky. It was cool though. That was really cool for that. And
Interesting.
the other thing I was going to tell you guys, I feel like we barely spoke about Ferrari, just a little bit in the beginning, but there was this really cool question that Will Buxton asked. You know, we have this driver, Charles Leclerc,
Mhm.
and he basically won in his hometown of Monza, and then he won. I'm sorry, in his home, he won in his hometown of I'm
Monaco.
blanking on the Monaco. I kept thinking Monte Carlo.
Yeah, it's accurate.
Yeah, yeah. So he won in Monaco, and then he also won for his team in his team's country of Italy.
Mhm.
And Will Buxton was asking, like, when's the last time, and was there any time that a driver has ever done that before, won in their country and then won in their team's country? And here's a little fun fact for you guys, because he did get the answer and he posted it on Twitter later on in the evening.
Mhm. It's
The
got to be
last time
last
that
year.
happened was in 1993.
It can't be. It's last year. Max did it. He won in Zandvoort and he won in Austria.
It says here.
Maybe Ferrari driver.
When's the last time a driver's first 2 wins in a season?
Oh,
That's
okay.
what it
First
is.
2 wins. Okay.
Yes.
That's different.
Had been in the countries
Okay.
whose anthems were played in that correct order was Leclerc, 2024. You're right, Eddie. I just wasn't specifying it properly. And in 1993, I'll let Will guess who it was.
I think I know.
What?
Okay, go Eddie.
93?
Who was it?
Schumacher?
No.
It wasn't Schumacher?
No.
Nope. Ayrton Senna.
Oh, Ayrton Senna.
Yeah.
Don't butcher the name like that, please.
I said it like that on purpose, like a gringo.
Jesus Christ, disrespect.
You didn't like that?
No.
Okay.
Don't ever do.
That's my.
Don't make me go there.
So that's a little fun fact for you guys. Thought you would enjoy that.
Interesting.
That's pretty cool.
So how
Thank you
about we
for
just jump in to predictions? Because
Yeah.
I know that we're looking forward to this.
Let's check it out.
Oh, yes, I am.
I'm ready. Update points. Okay. Quali poll. I had Charles Leclerc. Will had Lando Norris. And Eddie had Carlos. And William, you got it.
Point for Will.
Listen. 1 point for William.
That's
Podium.
Fine. Keep track if you can count high enough.
Podium, I mean, basically, I said Lando, Leclerc, Max, all of them wrong. Will said Lando, Oscar, Leclerc. He got Oscar correct.
He got all 3 correct, just wrong order.
In the wrong order.
Look, at one point, it was exactly correct, and I'm like, oh my God. I can't
Will was
believe I'm
losing
going to
his
pull
shit.
this off. And
He
then the
was
whole
on the
pit stop
couch,
thing
like-
started to happen. Bro, I was jumping on the couch, Eddie. I was on the tip of the couch most of this race. It's funner when we place bets like this, man. Dude, at one point,
Yeah,
I'm like, I can't believe
now you
I'm
know what
hitting
sports
all
betting
my
is
points.
about. Imagine you have money on the
I
line.
can't
It's even more
believe
fun.
it.
So
But yes, I got
once
Oscar.
again, in another category, Will gets a point, and Eddie and I get nothing because Eddie had
0.
Carlos, Max, Lewis. Eddie, what the heck were you thinking?
Was what?
Carlos Max Lewis.
It could have been. It was almost right.
Almost.
Okay, a Ferrari won. I think Max just beat Lewis.
Okay.
How can I? How
I
can
should
I
get an
account for
extra
them
point
being
for
so
not having
slow?
Max on.
How can I account for them being so slow?
You can't, but this is just guessing and it's fun. So
All right, 2
moving
points for
forward to
Will so far.
breakout and broken performers. I'll say what mine were, and you guys can continue to see yours. I had Colapinto having a breakout performance, and in order for him to have a breakout performance, it had to be 15th place or above, and he got 12th. So, bing, give me a point.
He drove a
Congrats.
really good race.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he did.
Yep, and my broken was Sergio, and he was not broken. No.
He
Will,
was right there with Max.
What you got, Will? What you bet?
For breakout, I had Scuderia Ferrari.
Mm-hmm.
And let me
Points?
tell you, I got the points.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you all may hate me for choosing my
Mhm.
broken, but don't hate the player, hate the game. I'm coming for this.
Mm-hmm.
So, I
Mhm,
thought he
mhm.
was last until I rechecked the standings again, and I
Yeah.
saw Astral last, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh. But that's still
Yeah,
broken.
I disagree because he gets last
disagree
every
too.
race,
Mhm.
and this time he beat an Aston Martin.
Yep.
If he's not finishing dead last
Listen.
and you're going for Joe, you get 0 points.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You guys are kidding, right?
No, he was not. He finished 2 places away
I
from
can't believe
his
it.
teammate.
These haters, man. Man, and I was looking at it. I'm like, look, he came last, and then I recheck again. I'm like, last row 19th. I'm like,
Yeah,
when?
Lance Stroll.
Mm-hmm. He beat
Last
an
place.
Aston Martin. I
He did
mean,
beat an Aston Martin.
they're ahead of them in the champions. So I mean,
An Aston Martin with 3 pit stops, but an Aston Martin he beat.
nonetheless,
So really,
and
I don't get a
technically he
point
beat
for
Yuki
that?
Tsunoda.
And he beat Yuki Tsunoda.
Wow. Wow.
He had a good
that-
weekend.
That car is complete garbage. But
Mhm.
he's usually finishing 30 seconds behind his teammate in last place. And this week
Yeah.
he did not.
Yeah. So Will, I'm sorry, but your broken performer was a breakout.
I had Carlos Sainz as my breakout performer. Now I'm gonna make an argument. I'm gonna make a claim. I'm gonna say that Carlos Sainz was the reason that his teammate won the race,
I think he
Holding
was
up-
a breakout.
holding up both McLarens
Yeah. That's what you
and
call a
finishing
team
fourth.
player.
and finishing
You
fourth.
guys are bullshitting me for giving Eddie this freaking point now.
Are you serious?
He-
You think I want to just give points away to Eddie? But
I
you
think
have
Carlos-
to be realistic.
drove a good
Carlos
race.
Was a breakout performer.
He drove a good race, and he might have finished on the podium if he didn't play the team game for his teammate.
Yep. He's a team player and he drove very well. And I think that you do get a point for that. Broken McLaren for you.
I'm gonna argue that too, because
Yeah.
they didn't win the race with the
I
fastest
swear
car.
to God, I'm gonna turn off my camera right now.
No,
and
I'm just gonna
go to
argue
bed.
it. You can tell me no, but I'm gonna argue it. They didn't win the race. They had a front row lockout. They didn't win the race. They also
They had
messed up the strategy and didn't give Lando the points that he should get to help him try to win the championship. And now they have a driver who's severely unhappy. I think they lose on the track and off the track.
I hate to say this, but I agree with you.
the way he presented it. Like I have to like poke you by the neck and agree with you.
I
Fuck.
agree.
I don't know
I
how they
agree.
don't win that race. They're by
Mhm.
far the fastest car. They
Mhm.
didn't win.
I understand why they pitted Piastri. You know, I don't understand why on TV they were like, why did they pit Piastri? I mean, when your driver's telling you, I don't think I can, drive these tires for the rest of the race. Like, I get it. You're gonna
Mhm.
maybe you should listen to your driver, or you could just like put your foot down as a team and make a call. But I mean, everything else was just butchered, and there's a lot of drama going on, and I think 100% of it is their fault. So they are definitely broken. Hate to say it,
Wow.
but
Yeah, I
congratulations,
don't-
Eddie.
Podium
You
is
got
broken.
another point.
Wow.
It's about everything.
Wow.
It's the whole team. I didn't go for a driver. I went for the whole team, and as a team, it was
Mhm.
they missed out on so much.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Well, wild predictions. Colapinto beats Albon. I mean, it was pretty damn close,
Nah, never gonna happen. Albon's
but
goated.
it didn't. It didn't.
Albon's the goat.
God knows what would have happened because we haven't mentioned this yet, but like Colapinto in Q1, I mean, on his flying lap right towards the end, he lost it a little bit. And like what would have happened if he would have actually completed that flying lap? Like, could he have gone to Q2?
Oh yeah, I think he would have. He
Yeah.
had good pace.
So if anything, excited to see
My
what
other-
else he can bring.
My other question, Eddie, when he did that, like when he lost a little bit and he gave up on the lap, like he could have still gone to the finish line before it hit zeros to try another flying lap, but he didn't. Do you know if there's a reason for that?
If they don't have enough fuel in the car, or if that's like the tires, because nobody was doing 2 laps, so maybe the tires couldn't hold up because nobody ran a soft tire. I think the soft tire was just really bad because the track was really hot, so they had really high tire degradation. So even if he went for a second lap, like there's a good chance he wouldn't have improved.
It's a good point. So like maybe they don't fill the car with so much fuel so that they can go faster. Is that like a strategy?
Yeah, so they'll only fuel it for, let's say, an out lap, 1 flying lap, and then 1 in lap. But if they need to do an extra one, they just don't have enough fuel.
That's why they
Because
keep
it's an
going back
extra
to the
lap,
pits
and
right
then
after
they
the
still have to
fuel.
go back into the pits. Yeah, exactly.
That's cool.
Yeah.
We all
Good
learning
to
here.
know.
We all learning.
Yeah. Will's wild prediction.
Albon in the points. Good shout.
Let's go.
This is so wild to say Albon in the points.
I mean, he's got what, 6 this year? He's finished in the points 3 times.
It's wild. Good guess, babe. Eddie, Checo beats at least one McLaren. Sorry, buddy.
So okay. At the end of
I'm
Q1,
gonna
I think
argue
Perez might have gone fastest, or at some point Perez was
We're
first.
talking about race, not qualifying.
I'm saying
Get the F
he
out of
beat-
here.
Shut up.
All right. So
Total
for the
of
week,
those points right now.
let's count up my points. I got 1 point. So that brings me to 12.5. Will got
1, 2, 3. He got 4 points.
4 and he had 12, so that puts him at 16.
Mm-hmm.
And Eddie, you got
2 points.
2 points, and that puts you at 16. Oh snap! Will and Eddie.
Just wait for next
60
week.
points
I got
each.
some bangers for predictions.
2 weeks from now. But next race week, I get what you're
Yeah,
saying.
next race week. Yeah.
Yeah, so we got a bye week, and then we're back. That's good. It just gives us some time to watch some American football.
Yeah.
You know?
Football's back.
Yeah.
Listen, can we argue then that because I didn't choose Max in my podium lineup, that I could get an extra point for that?
What? No. Max finished in 6th. We were going out on a limb, putting Max in our podium. Max doesn't get podiums anymore.
Exactly. I didn't put him in my top 3. So
yeah. So you took the easy way out. We still had faith.
Sorry. My gosh, I'm so sleepy.
Wow, we're tied at 16, Eddie. Oh,
that's
one thing I did wanted to bring up, and I kind of don't want to throw Veronica in the bus because it looks like she's gonna remain last. But Veronica was like, maybe whoever loses should do something.
Yeah,
or, like,
we
have
can do
to
that.
pay a debt.
Like I've seen like whoever loses a fantasy football league like has to do the fantasy draft locked in a dog cage, you know, like stupid stuff like that. You know?
We can do something like that.
So like the loser should have to do something.
Yeah, we can figure that out.
What do you want to
do? Well, we could take some
I mean, I know
what
I could do for you guys, but like if you guys lose, I know you wouldn't be able to do it for me.
Which is
like I can make you a badass steak dinner. But like if like I win,
ooh, you scared me there for a second.
You're saying Will can't cook?
Eddie, I asked Will to put in we were making mac and cheese for Liam, right? You know, the ones
Mhm.
come in a box.
Mhm.
So Will was boiling the water, and he had to pour the macaronis from the box into the water.
Mhm.
And then when I walked over to the stove after, there was like macaronis that had fallen all over the stove, and they were like burned because we have a gas stove and there's fire.
There was a hole in the box,
And I'm
Eddie.
like,
She didn't tell
how
me.
do you not like pour the macaronis correctly into the water?
Listen. So what is it that you want to do, babe? When you
No,
lose?
I could cook a steak dinner, but like if like
I like the
Eddie or
dog cage
you
idea.
win,
That was
I don't know
sounds
if
pretty fun.
I
The
think
dog-
we have 2 weeks to decide, and
Okay.
then
Okay.
we'll say our ideas on the next one.
But man, I need to get my shit together for next week, next race week, because
Oh, there's still plenty of time. 3.5 points is nothing.
all right.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You have 7 potential points per week.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, you're right.
8
There's-
race weekends left. That's 56 more picks.
A lot can happen.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't feel too bad anymore.
Anything can
Oh,
happen. This
there
season,
were
look, Drive to Survive next season is going to be crazy.
I think it's going to be filled with drama. They're not going to
I'm
show any
excited.
races.
Yes.
They're just going to do drama.
Behind the
Will
scenes
wanted
drama.
me to show a tweet to you guys, to you, Eddie. I haven't seen it either. This is the tweet.
Oh. They need that. That's a shipping container.
Do you know how much that box costs?
No.
Probably like $3,000 at least.
Gee. Play it again.
It doesn't let me play it again because I'm not logged into TikTok.
Ah, whack.
Yeah.
You got any funny
think
tweets
I-
from the weekend?
I think I do have some funny tweets for you guys. Okay. Gonna bring up my Twitter. It's a little slow. Here we go. Right. Yeah, scroll through the stuff. Here you go. Here you go, guys. We have
That
a
one's funny.
pentagon, a hexagon, an octagon, and pace is gone.
Oh,
This is cute. Look at the dog.
ew.
It's either cute or gross. It depends what you think about that. Max also, here's a fun one. Max said at the moment both championships are not realistic.
Yeah, he's right. He
Damn.
might be rocking the 33 car at the end of the season.
Ooh.
Next season.
Look at this. I just want to cry looking at this.
Yeah, I saw that. He wasn't even saying anything.
And he's like just like nonchalant, like I got bigger balls than you. Like he's just like, I get it. Like Formula One's a very selfish sport.
Did he
I
pull
guess.
his chair to the side too and be like, I don't want to be too close to them?
There was a guy dressed up like Valtteri Bottas, and they met
That's
each
So
other.
he got
good.
to meet with him?
Yeah, he was holding a
That's
sign.
pretty cool because
with
I
the
saw him
radio.
in the standings. I saw him in the
Valtteri-
standings, and then they
Valtteri.
showed a clip of Valtteri seeing him on the TV, and he's like, "What the?"
That's so cool.
I mean, it's pretty
Oh.
close. It's pretty legit. So I thought that was great. Leclerc when the track starts with Mon. I thought that was good.
Oh.
Let's see what else. If there's any
Hey,
others.
another thing I want to say after looking at that picture, I got goosebumps today, man. When I saw the Italian
Oh.
national anthem playing for the constructors, and
Yeah,
the
that's good.
sea of red people just singing it super loud. Goosebumps, dude. Eddie, let's go to
It would-
Monza one year and go watch a race.
It would be
there, man.
so cool to go to Monza and get lucky that Ferrari wins the race.
Ah,
And then being in the
that's like a
sea
dream.
during that. Wow.
It's like a dream.
Yeah.
Overrated.
This is Lando losing positions, traditions, And I think that's pretty much it.
It's good stuff.
This one says it was at that moment that George realized he was no longer invited to sleepovers at Toto's house.
Because he's in, that's Kimmy, right?
Yeah, it's Kimmy.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Helmut Marco is still talking shit about McLaren and Mercedes front wings. I mean, like, he needs to just like stop and like analyze his own team.
Just accept it.
But yeah, I mean, there was so much to talk about. It was a fun one.
Yeah.
And
I believe I got a point taken away.
You didn't get it taken away. You just didn't get it.
that's why
I was
I
looking at
never,
my
like-
predictions that I wrote down over here, and I circled 5, and I'm like, oof.
okay,
I
but
got a
Will,
joke
like, when
for
when
today.
it comes to breakout and wild predictions, I never really highlight like green or red for me before the podcast, because like I feel like those points need to be like come upon during a discussion. Like, we need to discuss if those points are true or not. Oh,
It's
and
funny,
now
he
Google thinks I'm
circled
talking
5
for
for
her.
he circled
I
5
could
for himself
discuss.
and
I
probably
have 5
0
circles
for
here.
me.
I honestly did. I honestly did. And I was gonna bring out a joke too, and I'm like, damn, they took out away the point from me. I was gonna have the FIA call me and be like, hello? Yes? Okay. The FIA just called. They told me I got an extra point for fattest gap. Like, no, I couldn't use that joke.
That's funny.
You could have saved it too, like, just in case. Now you
Yeah,
can't
who
use
knows?
it anymore.
You might have a good
Can we
week.
cut that out? Can we cut that out?
All right. Well, I think that was a good one. Thanks for joining us. If you listen in, if you made it this far, leave us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. And yeah, I mean, talk to us on the socials. We will see you guys later.
Goodbye, everybody.
In 2 weeks. Peace.
True.